I'm late. I know. My computer has just been giving me hell literally all day. But I appreciate you guys being here. We did just get big news that Giannis Antetokounmpo is now out. So, I got to update some things. That definitely changes the entire landscape of the slate. Kind of just have to go ahead and jam in Bobby Portis as well as Jrue Holiday. But with this news coming in pretty late during the day, that's going to create some good edge. I think those plays are going to be a bit lower owned than they should end up being. But man, I'm all over those guys today. If you guys are playing over on Prize Picks, I don't know if they've taken them off the board. I kind of alerted you guys in the Discord. You should be taking the overs on Bobby Portis and Jrue Holiday right now. Love those guys a ton today. So, yeah, Giannis being out changes literally everything. Okay. The white balance in my video is like really off. Okay. Drop the elevator music. Okay. Does Matt have the lineup for all the monies? Who knows? Okay, we're definitely gonna have to change. This slate actually got a lot easier because of this, in my opinion. But this also makes it less likely that I'm going to find that lineup of playing Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis together. If you guys watched my video earlier, Jokic is my top projected play on the day. Anthony Davis shortly behind him. So I'll admit it now from yesterday. Bam played back-to-back. I will hope everybody is well out there. Yeah, no worries, man. Holiday and Portis in the same lineup. Cool. Absolutely. I think you should probably be starting your lineups right there. Cole Stevens, thank you so much for subscribing. Okay, yeah, by the way, guys, I kind of told you guys in the Discord as well. With this news just dropping, I'm like really behind on like typing up everything. I've well researched this slate, but my computer's been giving me a ton of problems. So like I was kind of late to adding the Patreon stuff, and obviously I was a couple minutes late to the stream. So I'm going to be editing some of that stuff, and then we'll get into the more of the new stuff. But I'm just going to be like thinking out loud for you guys right now. But yeah, with no Giannis, obviously that opens up a ton of things. I think George Hill actually becomes one of the sneakier value plays on the entire slate. Guard is pretty stacked today. But, he should have a much larger usage role, facilitating role with no Giannis out there. It's going to be just him and Jrue Holiday facilitating the ball. So, George Hill sub 4K, and we already got word from Budenholzer that they like to run him big minutes right now, and he's been playing, 33, 34 minutes a game, and he is sub 4K. So, I like George Hill a good bit now. And then I think Jrue Holiday and Bobby Portis are near must plays. I think that both those guys' minutes got scaled back last game because they are recently coming back from an injury, and it was the second leg of a back-to-back. So, I think those minutes go back up today, and we're probably going to see, 32 to 36 minutes from those guys. Bobby Portis played 35 minutes in that first leg of a back-to-back. The second leg, he played only 24. Still really got there in 24 minutes, but I'm expecting a lot more minutes out of him right now. Is LaVine a lock? Yeah, LaVine's one of the best plays on the slate. $8,000. Now there's no Nikola Vucevic. Him and DeMar DeRozan are just going to have to shoot a ton tonight. What about Thanasis? Yeah, Thanasis is going to be in the rotation, but we got to remember that this team is a lot healthier than they were in the previous games where we weren't getting very many players from that team. Noah is going to open up, but they have all these guys. Plus, they have Semi Ojeleye, who's completely healthy now. Bobby Portis is completely healthy. Rodney Hood. You know, this team is a lot healthier despite them missing their best production players. So the minutes aren't as condensed as they were before. Your boy Hammer, Drew, and Bobby overs with each of the Steph's fantasy points in lock. And that profit, baby. Let's go. $300 risk to win $750. As long as both bucks hit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a sharp route. I mean, we talked about that a bit yesterday when we had the opportunity to do that with the Cavs the other day. I think that's a pretty sharp route to go. You need those two guys to hit, but unless this game blows out or one's dealing with foul trouble or somebody gets injured, it's hard for me to imagine them not hitting those numbers. Is Hill a good FanDuel play? Yeah, I think Hill is pretty solid now. Am I late? You late? What's up? Yeah, I'm a little late. I'm a little late today. Like 5 minutes late. Do you like a lineup on FanDuel with George Hill, Portis, and Drew? I think that's definitely fine. Not really on Pat Connaughton. Robinson, good values. Center with no Noel. Yeah, so I was expecting Noel to sit here. It looks like Taj Gibson's actually a bit banged up too. So, you know, he probably plays 28, 30 minutes here. Pretty solid spot for Mitchell Robinson. He's at a weird price point, though, where he's by JaVale McGee and Isaiah Stewart. And I think I prefer Isaiah Stewart to him. Him and JaVale McGee kind of a toss-up for me. Mitchell Robinson definitely a lot safer than JaVale, though, because, you know, they'll play Frank Kaminsky 32 minutes off the bench, and JaVale will just play 16. We just saw that last game. Yeah, I'm not going team by team today. I'm just gonna go talk as the news starts rolling in, because there's some other injuries that we're waiting for as well. Because, you know, Steven Adams ends up getting ruled out. If you guys watched my video earlier, you know, I think there's a good chance Brandon Clark ends up getting the start, but and the biggest likelihood is that we see the majority of the minutes at the center spot go to Jaren Jackson, which is going to open up more wing minutes for guys like Kyle Anderson, Desmond Bane, DeAnthony Melton. So yeah. Eight best players on DK under 50K. That's crazy. I don't know. You let me know, man. Rubio or Cade straight up on DK. I'm going to go with Cade there. The Rubio's minutes were pretty concerning last game, to be honest. I knew his minutes would get cut back a bit, but him only playing 28 minutes despite playing very well is definitely concerning. Drew was 33.5 and Bobby 31, so an L would be just an awful outlier. Gotta live with the result. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, these numbers are probably going to inflate to like Drew Holiday like 38, Bobby like 34.5, 35. You're getting like super value on it. CJ against Houston. No, I'm not really. I do like Dame a ton on FanDuel. Don't mind him on DraftKings. You know, he's been shooting well recently and the volume has stuck. So as long as he's shooting that much and he's not shooting like 20% like he was earlier on in the season, Damian's still a good play, because they priced up everybody, all the studs like Jokic. Giannis is 12K. Obviously he's not on the slate any longer, but they priced up all the studs, and Damian Lillard is still hanging around 10K, so he's actually a value compared to everybody else. Now you're trying to make Drew fit? Yeah, you probably got to make Drew fit now. I like I said, I think Drew, Bobby, and George Hill probably the best plays on the slate now. Again, guys, just bear with me, and we'll get through this slate together. Just a lot of breakdown, and I am a one-man show, so it is a bit difficult for me to edit everything while I'm talking to you guys and keeping you guys entertained, as well as giving you guys some more information. But of course, I'm focusing mostly on my Patreon members who allow me to do this every single day. The best job in the world. You think Elias Johnson or Tony Bradley more? So my thoughts on that situation with the Chicago Bulls without Nikola Vucevic is that Bradley likely gets to start here. and then Elias Johnson is going to mix in. I think this game suits Elias Johnson a lot more because I think this game goes small. The Golden State Warriors always run small whenever they can, whether or not Draymond Green is playing. So it's tough, man. I mean, I'm assuming Tony Bradley gets the start, and so I would prefer him to Elias Johnson. Now, if Elias Johnson gets the start, then I know what route that they are trying to go, and then I would just slam in Elias Johnson. I think you can go ahead and play Tony Bradley because I do assume he starts. But we also received word from Billy Donovan that they could go small with Derrick Jones Jr. at the 5. So, you know, it's not a lock button situation like we originally thought it had been. Especially in this matchup against the Warriors. And then on the opposite side of that game, if Draymond Green gets ruled out, I think this game could definitely run small, and we could see a lot of Nemanja Bjelica at the 5, and he would be a very, very good tournament option, a pivot off of Elias Johnson and Tony Bradley, and they are in the same game, so we're going to have news on this situation, on who's starting on the Bulls, and whether or not Draymond Green is playing. Trey Lyles on DK, not really on Trey Lyles. Hope we get the key news before 6:30 Central Time. Yeah, that would be ideal. Melton with no Graham. Oh, with no Brooks, you mean? Yeah, I mean, and that's another case. If Steven Adams is ruled out, I think we see a lot of Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 5, which is going to open up more minutes for those guard and wings guys like Bane, Melton, Kyle Anderson. Run back a few Celtics with the Bucks plays. Yeah, I mean, I think Dennis Schroeder is probably... Brandon Ingram already ruled out. Dude, I was going to say it earlier. Like, I didn't think Brandon Ingram was going to play in this game. So that is a big bump to Jonas Valanciunas. Like, massive, massive bump. I don't know if that game stays competitive. There's some serious blowout risk right there. It had actually been going even further on the net side after I made that video. But now with Brandon Ingram out, I mean, dude, it's like really tough for them to keep this game competitive. But this matchup is so good for Jonas. Should really be able to dominate the front court of the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they have just like no size up there. It's going to be like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. And they pretty much just run the offense completely through Jonas Valanciunas. So, Jonas Valanciunas is $9,300, which may seem like a lot on DraftKings, but compared to everybody else, all the other studs on this slate, I mean, dude, that's cheap for Jonas in this situation. Alizé, I'll remember that. I actually know that. I just like have a hard time just actually saying it when it comes to the time. Are you on Jared Allen today? Yeah, I mean, I like Jared Allen a ton. I mean, the center is loaded today. I mean, between Jokic, Allen, Isaiah Stewart, Tony Bradley, Mitchell Robinson is definitely in play as well, and then Jonas Valanciunas is now very much so in play with no Brandon Ingram. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough slate. There's a bunch of different routes you can go, and then Anthony Davis obviously is a center as well. And I just got a comment on my video saying, when do I not tout Anthony Davis? And that's true. I think I tout Anthony Davis every time he's on the slate, but for good reason. I think he's pretty amazing play. Okay, I'm almost done with the DraftKings sheet, and I'll send that out, and then the FanDuel lineup. Thanasis and Antetokounmpo or Semi Ojeleye. Probably lean with Thanasis there for sure. Hill, Cunningham, Richardson, Portis, Robinson, Drew, AD, Tatum, DK, Cash. I like it. Harder Bridges on FanDuel with no J-Val. So yeah, or you mean no Brandon Ingram. So yeah, that becomes a lot more interesting. I think I still prefer Bridges there. Steven Adams on track to play Friday. Okay, so Steven Adams looks like he's going to play. It is Steven Adams. You know, he plays through any injury. I don't think that guy's actually ever been injured. He just plays through everything. And so, yeah, I mean, that really takes away a lot of my interest from guys like Jaren Jackson and those other guys. I still think that they're viable, but I'm just not really on them as much as I would have been. I got to add Thanasis to this list of plays I want to get in today. Bobby Portis over 27.5 points and rebounds, a good bet. That's a lofty number. I still like it. I would still lean the overs, but that is a very, very lofty number. But yeah, from the Bucks side, I mean, it's really Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, George Hill. And then I think Thanasis and Antetokounmpo, more of a secondary guy today. Okay, we are updating the Draftkings sheet right now. I'm actually really glad Steven Adams ended up playing because that was just going to cause just way too many plays I would end up falling in love with. So Jeremiah Robinson Earl is actually getting the start today, as I predicted earlier. You can it's pretty easy to predict who is going to end up being the starter at the center position for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just look at the size of the guys on the opposite side. Whenever it's a smaller guy like Rashawn Holmes in this instance, Jeremiah Robinson Earl is likely going to be the starter. But the other day, what was it the last game for the Thunder? Yeah, against the Pelicans and Jonas Valanciunas, obviously they want the size in Derek Favors, even though Derek Favors himself is a very, very small, undersized center. Used to playing the 4 his entire career, so now he's playing the 5 and can get kind of beat up, especially by guys like Jonas Valanciunas. But in this matchup, more of a matchup that suits Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Not considering him at all, but definitely takes Derek Favors out of play. Okay. The new Draftkings sheet is going live right now. Okay. The Patreon link is up right now. Okay. If you faded Bucks, send head-to-heads my way, please. Sheesh. Lyles or Bielitsa on DK? Definitely Bielitsa for me. But this is assuming Draymond Green is out. If Draymond Green is not out, I would prefer Lyles. Although I really don't think Lyles picks up that many minutes. I just don't really think that ends up happening. Jokic or J-Val? Jokic. Oh, I guess on the updated sheet, I still included Giannis. Giannis is not playing, so ignore that. Big bet alert. Will Barton over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists minus 130. That does seem like free money. I do like that bet, so it's a good call. You can hit some overs over on PrizePicks as well on Barton. Are you on Huerter? So yeah, the thing with Kevin Huerter is that it's totally indicative of what's going on with the situation with Bogdanovich and DeAndre Hunter. If they sit, or if one of them sit, then I think Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish are great plays, especially if both of them sit. We saw last game, both of those guys sat. Huerter ended up playing 39 minutes. He was running really hot. Like he started making threes almost immediately when he came into the game. And then Cam Reddish played 30.5 minutes off the bench. So those would become great plays if they were ruled out, but they are already ruled as game time decisions. So I don't think that we're going to get that until around shoot around, or until right before the game. So we're probably not going to get that news until after lock. So if you want to prepare to play those guys, I think it's fine, but just make sure to have some pivots ready. DeRozan or Levine on DK, definitely Levine. Herter or Connaughton, depends on the injury news, but probably Herter. Wonder how the center ownership will go on DK. A lot of guys viable and a lot with power forward eligibility. Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, but I'm finding like all the guys that I like today only have center eligibility, like Jokic, Isaiah Stewart. I mean, dude, if Isaiah Stewart can avoid foul trouble, I mean, it's like a serious problem for him. He cannot keep his hands to himself. Reminds me of an early Jaren Jackson. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation for sure. Horford gonna smash the Bucks now. Could definitely see that. Oh, what were we just talking about? Oh yeah. So I guess with this happening, this team is going to be very small. The Bucks are going to be even smaller than they already were. So the Celtics are likely going to close with a small lineup where they only have one of their centers out there, because they start with Robert Williams and Al Horford. So we're probably going to continue to see Josh Richardson close and play 30 plus minutes in this game. And small forward is a very, very weak position. So at $3,300, I think you could do a lot worse than Josh Richardson. He is squarely in play. You still like Rubio? Yeah, Rubio's fine. I'm not on him as much as I was the other day, but I think he's still fine for sure. You like Barton over 32 fantasy points on Price Picks? Yeah, absolutely. Herter covered his fantasy points over in the first quarter. Dude, yeah, we took the over on him on Price Picks because it was like 14 fantasy points. I'm like, man, he could hit this even if those guys are healthy. And if he's out, I mean, it's like a lock to hit. Do you like D-Rose? Yeah, I think D-Rose and Kemba Walker, we know that the situation there, they're going to play all 48 of those point guard minutes. And whoever's playing better is going to play like 28, 30 minutes and is going to destroy those price tags. But your guess is as good as mine on which one is going to do better. Obviously, since Kemba Walker is starting, he has the first chance to end up paying that off. But it is definitely a tricky situation. Carmelo or Baisley? Definitely Carmelo. DK Cash, Hill, Cade, Grayson Allen, Portis, Jared Allen, Holiday, Davis, Stewart. Love it. Love it. Had a good GPP play. Yeah, I mean, I think that game is one of the more interesting games to stack today, just because of the price of everybody. And I think a lot of people are going to go to Anthony Edwards, and so like guys like D'Angelo Russell, Patrick Beverley in his own right, I think is a pretty solid play. I think he's going to be playing pretty big minutes tonight. If his price was closer to George Hill, I would prefer him, but George Hill is so much cheaper. Bobby Portis a lock, yeah, for me. Otto Porter, if Draymond is out, I mean, he definitely receives one of the bigger boosts. I think that if Draymond's out, it's Bjelica, Jordan Poole, and Otto Porter probably receive the biggest bumps. Is the Lakers game going to break the slate? It could. I think that the Thunder game is very, very interesting to stack because I love De'Aaron Fox. If you watched my video earlier, I kind of went over like how often he has been driving to the rack in these last couple of games. He's getting to the line pretty effectively right now. And if that continues, especially if Halliburton and Terrence Davis are out again, I think De'Aaron Fox is way too cheap. And you could play Harrison Barnes as well. And you could bring it back with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or one of the cheaper Thunder guys. Stewart or Mitchell Robinson. It's going to be Stewart for me. $3 in cash. Okay, absolutely. Porzingis. Yeah, I think Porzingis is too cheap at 6,600. DeAndre Ayton officially ruled out. JaVale McGee's probably going to grab the start again in his absence. But whether it's him or Frank Kaminsky gets more minutes, I'm not sure. I think in this game it could suit well for JaVale McGee, but yeah, it's definitely a tricky situation. Yep, Ayton is officially ruled out. Pat Bev or Stewart. I mean, if you're straight up picking the last spot, it's probably Stewart. But he comes at a center position that is stacked today, so you could just go elsewhere. It's easier to find a replacement there. How do you feel about either Drew, Graham, JaVale over Dame, Cade, Allen, or... Yeah, Steph, I'm changing the FanDuel line. That was sent before the Giannis news, so like I'm still editing it right now. But Drew, Graham, JaVale. I think that's definitely fine. It's hard for me not to play Dame though at $8,500. That's such a ridiculous price tag. Thoughts on Mobley? Yeah, Mobley should continue to play nearly 40 minutes. His minutes got cut back last game due to just like bad play, but I think he's definitely in play. I think Jared Allen's going very overlooked again, just because he didn't score 50 fantasy points, so people are like off of him now. The situation didn't change at all. He played 40 minutes again. Gordon Hayward or Keldon Johnson? It's gonna be Hayward for me. Thoughts on slow-mo? So yeah, I mean, actually, I'm not really on slow-mo anymore because Steven Adams is on track to play. If Steven Adams were to like randomly miss this game after that comment, you know, I would like slow-mo, but not on him anymore. Connaughton, not really on Pat Con. Definitely prefer George Hill for cheaper. Cunningham or Rose? Definitely Cunningham. Portis or Capella at center, FanDuel GPP? Definitely Portis, but you could play both. Why not both? Holiday, Levine, Barton, Portis, Joker, Hill, Bielitsa, Herter, GPP, DK. I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, I think that the best route in tournaments tonight is playing Jokic and Anthony Davis. Anthony Edwards or DeMar DeRozan on DK tiers. It's going to be Anthony Edwards for me. Monk, if Rondo sits again. Yeah, if Rondo sits again, I think Monk is in a really good spot. Monk played 35 minutes in overtime last time out, so like 30 minutes of regulation, but he was the main ball handler behind Westbrook, and I was unsure what they were going to do without Rondo, because they have no ball handlers on this team, with no Kendrick Nunn, Horton Tucker, LeBron, and then obviously without Rondo then. So if Rondo sits again, I mean, Monk is in a very, very good spot. Tatum a good play with Giannis out. Yeah, I think Tatum's still fine. I prefer Schroeder though for the savings. There's enough value for AD and Joker. Let me readjust. Yeah, there's definitely enough value for him now because that George Hill thing opens up, and then I think Josh Richardson actually coming back is not too bad of an option. 5,300 small forward on DK. Gonna be Mikal Bridges for me, and then Josh Hart right behind.
生活呀，不光是你去做什么，更是你如何去做。
Thoughts on Porzingis? Yeah, I mean, I think Porzingis at 6,600 is one of the strongest plays on the slate. I don't think he's necessary though. Again, guys, this is a 11-game slate, so there's a ton of good plays. So if you guys are part of my Patreon, I just make sure to stick to the. I mean, definitely stick to the core plays and the S tier plays because we have 4 today, and then I would pair that with mostly A tier plays, and Kristaps is an A tier play. So DK center for cash, Jokic, Isaiah Stewart, Luka over on 2.5 threes. Sounds about right. I don't know if I have any lean on the under or over. Like the unders on Horford and Williams. It would be more so Williams than Horford. I think this is more of a matchup for Horford. Although Giannis being out, you know, he might not be needed as much defensively. Balance build on DK. Yeah, balance build on DK with like AD is probably the best cash route today. Or Jokic. You can play Jokic or AD, but I think that there's so much value at center, you kind of want to leave that center spot open. Not really on Caruso. Under, yeah, if I were to take an under on either of those guys, it would be Williams. Barton or Barnes. Shit. It's probably Barnes. Think I'm on it tonight, bro. Last question. Derrick Rose, Dort, or Melton last piece in. Depends what you're trying to do. Cash games, it's definitely Dort. But GPPs, it'd be Derrick Rose. But just know, if you're playing Derrick Rose, like, there's a good chance that he only plays like 18 minutes. But if it's like last game, he played like 30 minutes. And him and Kemba Walker really just like take turns on who's playing better that game. And they end up playing 30 minutes and destroying their price tags. D Rose or Kemba? I definitely prefer Kemba if I'm choosing between the two. Are you making any changes to the Patreon? I did just make a change to the to DraftKings. I'm still working on the FanDuel lineup right now, but I'm almost done with it. Don't the Knicks give up way too many threes to everyone? Yeah, they concede just so many threes, and that's why Terry Rozier is in such a good spot today. Like, such a good spot because of, I mean, I think they allow the most in the league. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure they do allow the most in the league. So, I mean, the Knicks are just like not good defensively. They are literally nothing like they were last year. Not even comparable. Okay, Kelly Oubre viable. He went God mode last game out of nowhere. Yeah, it was wild. How many real points did Oubre end up scoring that game? I'm not really on Oubre. Regardless, he scored 37 real points. Yeah, I mean, I'm not on him at all. His role is not secure at all. They'll play Cody Martin over him. Yeah, I mean, it's very seldom that he even ends up in the closing lineup. Horford and or Time Lord smashing coming with Giannis out. Yeah, one of them is gonna smash. I like the odds of Horford a bit more there, but yeah, I mean, one of those guys is probably going to smash. All right, the FanDuel lineup is coming right now. Jokic on DK, yeah. I love Jokic. Jokic and AD are my two favorite spin ups. Best 4K under small forward on DK, definitely going to be Josh Richardson for me. Drew Holiday or Jared Allen. It's probably Drew there, but it's close. I mean, I love both those guys. Okay, FanDuel Patreon is being uploaded right now. Okay, it has been updated. All right, guys. Okay. Everything's updated. We can go answer some questions now. Everything's updated. We got 15 minutes. Okay, we got 15 minutes to answer some questions. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them down. If you guys are new here, haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Apologies for being a couple minutes late. You know, my computer's been giving me a lot of problems. And then we got the Giannis news as soon as I was going live, so I had to end up editing. But, you know, Patreon members come first. Had to fix some things, but we are set to go right now. Feeling really good about this slate now. I think just like a general like rundown of the slate. I think that the you should be you could either go with a balanced build and like max out with the guys like Valanciunas, Fox, Levine, and work yourself down. But make sure to get the obvious value plays from the Milwaukee Bucks between Bobby Portis, George Hill, Drew Holiday. I think the balance build is probably the safest way for cash games. You're going to want to fit in AD and or Jokic in tournaments, I think, just from a pure upside standpoint. But with Drew Holiday and Bobby Portis being just like such locks in that 6K range, the balance build is probably the better way to go. Schroeder or Rozier? I like Schroeder more. Check DM. I got you, Matt. Yeah, I mean, I really like that. Yeah, I mean, if the Bucks or if the Hawks news breaks for you, that's gonna look nice. But I'll ask you this question: like, what do you think's gonna happen if Bogdan is healthy and DeAndre Hunter is inactive? I guess you still run Herter there, but I don't think it's nearly as good as of a play, and I think that's the most likely outcome. Hill, Levine, Richardson, Portis, Stewart, Drew, Porzingis, Jokic. I love it. What happened to Portis? Only 24 minutes last game. Yeah, and if you watch my stream, I kind of expected that to happen. He played 35 minutes. He's just now coming back from injury. They threw him in for 35 minutes on the first leg of a back-to-back, and when he played 24 minutes, that was the second leg of that back-to-back. They just kind of scaled back his minutes. They scaled back really everybody's minutes, except George Hill's. Which is just wild to me. But, I mean, I think he should play a full complement of minutes today. And without Giannis, I mean, he's going to have to play like 34, 35 minutes here. No changes to FanDuel lineup. The FanDuel lineup was just updated unless I just didn't fix it. Let me make sure I did. No, it's updated. So, yeah, check out the FanDuel lineup. It is up to date right now. Do you like RJ Barrett? No, not really. Wish we had the extra 100 to play Hayward over KPJ. I'm sick of this kid burning us lately. Yeah, I mean, but it's the correct play. I mean, the opportunities are just there in groves. It's wild, like how much opportunity Kevin Porter Jr. does have. One of these games, he'll come through. Pat Bev or Caruso? I prefer Pat Bev there. Do you like RJ Barrett? No, not really. Fox or Levine? I like Levine more. Levine's definitely like the safer option in cash games, but I love De'Aaron Fox in tournaments and stuff like that. I've been playing De'Aaron Fox all year, so. Rubio or Garland? Garland for me. Hill, J-Val over Lillard and McGee. I like Hill and J-Val a little bit more. Crazy to play Porzingis over Portis and GBP. Yeah, I think that's pretty crazy. Stewart or Mitchell Robinson? Stewart for me. Curry and Russell or Levine and DeRozan. Let's go Levine and DeRozan right there. Holiday, Cunningham, Richardson, Portis, Jokic, Rozier, Porzingis, Robinson. Love it. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's one of the better lineups I've seen with Jokic. Melton or Rose, last piece DK. Yeah, I mean, you see, Rose can either, like, is really going to make or break your lineup. Like, he could either get the lion's share of minutes, play 30 minutes, and pay off handsomely, or he could play 18 minutes and shit the bed. Melton, definitely the safer option because his median projection is going to be a lot narrower. There's a very wide range of possibilities for Derrick Rose. I'm torn between Giannis Valanciunas and DeJounte Murray on DK tiers. Can you help me out on this? Yeah, I'd probably go with, it depends. So, like, Valanciunas, that game could easily blow out. And so if you don't want to take that risk, I would just play Murray. And they're close enough of a projection that I would probably side with Murray there. Tatum, Edwards, or Porzingis and Jokic. I'm going to go with Tatum and Edwards there. Do you think Will Barton is overpriced? I think he is slightly overpriced, but this matchup is just so good. I think him and Jokic just, like, torch this team. I definitely think that he could pay off that price tag, but I do think that he is slightly overpriced, but I would still consider him today. Is it okay to put Bradley in utility, and if Dre gets ruled out, then pivot to Bielitsa? Absolutely. I think that's one of the sharpest routes to go, actually. Levine and Allen or J-Val and Schroeder. Levine and... Actually, hold up. Yeah, Levine and Allen. That's close, though. LaMelo braces slate. I'm just like really not a LaMelo guy this year. I was a big time LaMelo guy last year, but from a fantasy standpoint, I'm just really not getting to all that much of him today. Harden or Murray? Gonna be Harden for me. Hawks or Nuggets tonight? I like the Nuggets. Melton, Herter, or Javante and Cunningham? Wow, that's tough. Probably Javante and Cunningham. What are your thoughts on Bradley minutes? Yeah, I'm like really skeptical on Tony Bradley. Like very, very skeptical. If he gets the start, I think that we could see a similar situation to Kevon Looney in normal situations where he just like, he'll play like a pretty decent first quarter stint. He'll come in, play like the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, and then, you know, he'll get a stint in the third quarter. But I don't think that they close with him. So I'm thinking like 22, 24 minutes out of Tony Bradley, which is enough at minimum price. But like, he's not a slam dunk play by any means. And there's a lot of routes for him to just like have his minutes taken away from either. I mean, he could get in foul trouble. Elias Johnson and or Derek Jones Jr. could steal away minutes. It's just like, it's more of a risky play. I'm really debating running Bucks back with Tatum at the weak small forward position. Get the raw fantasy points plus correlation is intriguing for sure, man. I mean, I agree. Stocks upside for Stewart as well. Yeah, Stewart's pretty tight. I want to see what they moved the Milwaukee Bucks guys to, because they had to have changed them. Okay, so Portis is up to 36. Drew Holiday's up to 41.5. So we got some pretty damn good value right there. Pretty damn good value. Beverly or Stewart. Stewart for me. Towns or Randall. Towns for me. Top GPP plays like De'Aaron Fox, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That game stack with Oklahoma City and the Kings. Giannis is out, correct. Yep. Barnes or Porzingis? I'd probably go with Barnes there, just for the safety in the minutes. Because even though Porzingis is healthy now, I don't really see him getting over like 32 minutes. Whereas Harrison Barnes can play like 37, 38 minutes. And gets a better matchup. Is Adams playing? Adams is on track to playing. So, final. Holiday, Melton, Richardson, Portis, Joker, Hill, Bielitsa, AD, GPP, DK. Let's get it, man. Yeah, if Draymond ends up getting ruled out, Bielitsa's looking nice. And I guess if he's not ruled out, you could just slide over to Elias Johnson. Carmelo or Wiggins on FanDuel. Gonna be Carmelo for me. Barton or Porzingis. I prefer Barton. Tatum, Rozier, or J-Val Barton. Let's go J-Val Barton there. Lakers or Wolves tonight. Definitely like the Lakers there. JaVale McGee last piece in solid. I think that's fine. It's Harden scoring 21 tonight. If the game can stay competitive, I mean, this game could easily get out of hand like really, really fast. Boston or Bucks tonight. I still want to take the Bucks. I probably still lean the Bucks there at home. Yeah, if Green is in, I'll swap to Johnson. Thanks for all the help, big dog. Yeah, no problem, Brandon. Hill, Levine, Barton, Porzingis, Allen, Edwards, Portis, and Clark. It looks like Steven Adams is going to play tonight, so Brandon Clark's not really in play anymore. So, yeah, Steph, I got you. Okay, I got you. 3K extra for Allen over Stewart. Feels kind of steep on FanDuel with no Kelly O. Don't need his size against Cavs. What do you think about either D'Lo, Stewart over Hill and Allen, or Stewart Jokic over Allen and J-Val? I would definitely consider the Stewart Jokic one way more. I prefer Allen J-Val. I think they both have like 50, 60 point upside here. Stewart does have upside, like really significant upside, but the foul trouble situation is literally at the ownership he's going to be at. The foul trouble does definitely scare me. So if you want to get off of it, I think that's definitely fine. But yeah, I mean, I might look at a change after lock, since only one game is locking at 6 p.m. Central Time. So be on the watch out for that. Appreciate that, Gomes. Portland or Rockets tonight. I like Portland there for sure. J-Val worth it over Allen on FanDuel. Blowout scares me. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I'm like thinking of scenarios in my head, so we might change the FanDuel lineup a bit. We got 4 minutes until lock, and then I'll take a look at it because only one game starts at 6 p.m. Central Time. I'm not really considering anybody in that game. I guess like Terry Rozier and Mitchell Robinson are somewhat in consideration, but I'm not playing either of those guys on FanDuel. 3.5 minutes left, guys. If you guys have any last second questions, make sure to get them in now. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to drop a like. Hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate it. Beverly, Levine, Herter, Portis, Robinson, AD, Holiday, and Schroeder. I have no problems with any of that. Just make sure that you get that Atlanta news because Herter's not really in play if Bogdanovich and Hunter are both healthy. Josh Richardson and Towns or Drew in 7,100 utility. I'd probably go with Drew in the utility spot. I just wanted to say that your show is one of the best shows out there that I appreciate it and look forward to seeing your show all the time. Really appreciate that, man. Apologies for being a bit late today. You know, usually I try to make a point of being on time, but I got to work on my computer after this. The Hornets will start LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, and Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee, if you guys watched my video earlier, and I've kind of said it multiple times, since PJ Washington's out, his minutes are very, very secure. If you guys do want like a pivot off the very popular center plays today, Mason Plumlee is probably going to come in at single-digit ownership, and he's right around the same price tag. I think he's $4,700. Definitely in play. Fox, Cade, Richardson, Edwards, DeRozan, Wiggins, Portis, Mobley, Capella on FanDuel. I can get behind it. I was going to say, typically I'm not on Wiggins, but small forward is just so weak over on FanDuel that really on both sides that he's definitely one of the better ones over there. Does Noah benefit with Giannis out? For sure he does. But, Semi Ojeleye is fully healthy now. Thanas is going to get minutes. There's just like a lot more guys that are going to get burned that Noah needs to play like mid-20s minutes to be viable. And I don't know if that necessarily happens. Josh Richardson or Temple, definitely Josh Richardson. Bulls are the lock of the night, are they, man? Let's bink tonight. Let's get it, Kurt. Hit that like button, fellas. Yes, sir. Luka or Westbrook straight up. Going to be Westbrook for me. Best utility under 7,100, Barton or Mobley. Going to be Barton for me. I took a stand last night with Boucher. I told you guys I was on it. I paid off in the big way, and I'm doing the same with Rose tonight. I'm scared, but I'm confident. Let's get it, Brandon. Yeah, I'll be cheering for Rose then. I'll definitely be cheering for Derrick Rose. Yeah, I mean, dude, the situation last night with Svi Mikhailuk and Chris Boucher was just like wild. I mean, Boucher was just not in the rotation, like hardly at all, and then he jumped over Svi Mikhailuk in a matchup where they could have definitely played small with Svi at the 5. So I don't know, it happens. 3-game slate. It is what it is. Best utility under 7,100, Barton or Mobley. Gonna be Barton for me. Holiday, Edwards, Hill, Bane, Covington, DeRozan, Jared Allen, Levine for GBP. Not really on Bane or Covington. I mean, I guess Bane's fine. I'm not really on Covington, though. I feel like there's a better play in that range, but I like the rest of it. Holiday, Hill, Rozier, Hart, Richardson, Dort, Portis, Davis, Jokic, FanDuel is a single entry. I like that, man. Davis and Jokic is nice. What's your opinion? Mobley and Monk or Stewart, Porzingis last piece? I probably just play Stewart, Porzingis. Monk is really only in play if Rondo is ruled out, and that's the last game of the slate, so we're probably not going to get news on that. All over Boucher. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, it was very random. But it is a 3-game slate, so I mean, if you got to get different somehow. You like Semi on FanDuel? No, I'm not really on Semi. Capella or Allen? Gonna be Allen for me. Knicks or Hornets tonight? I'll go with the Knicks there. You have me on a bunch of screens here at work. Nice, man. All right, guys, it is lock time. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at FanDuel right now. I got like 29 minutes to make an edit. So if I do make an edit, I'll alert you guys on the Patreon and Discord. But yeah, appreciate you guys being here. I know I was a couple minutes late. Apologies for that. Try not to do that moving forward. Try to be here every single day, an hour before. We were here for 54 minutes, so pretty decent time. But yeah, appreciate you.